So over Easter, of course, lots of people getting away, and many air travellers say the worst part of that journey is the airport security check, having to pack liquids in small quantities, take out things like laptops and hairdryers for inspection. The extra hassle should soon be a thing of the past, as new scanners are being installed at all the UK's main airports, not fast enough to meet a government deadline, which is June of this year. So it was back in 2019. The government announced these scanners would be rolled out by December of 2022. But disruption caused by a COVID pandemic meant that target was missed. The Prime Minister then promised another deadline, June 2024. Some airports are on track to meet that target, or they've already done so, but others have admitted they will likely miss it. The government has now announced that some airports will be granted a deadline extension of up to a year. The exact amount of time will be decided on a case-by-case basis. But if they fail to meet this new deadline, there could be serious financial penalties, as our transport correspondent Katie Austin explains.
Change is coming to airport security. New high-tech scanners should eventually mean the end of the current liquids rules.
At the moment, any liquids you take through in your hand luggage have to be no more than 100 millilitres, and you have to take them out and put them in a plastic bag like this. With the new machines in place, they can all stay in your bag, and you can also take through liquids that are up to 2 litres in size. There we go. Laptops can stay in the bag as well.
But some major airports won't have all their updated equipment installed by the most recent deadline, the 1st of June. The government has now granted extensions past that date, but no more than a year, where it thinks there's been a genuinely good reason, like supply chain delays or construction work to cope with the huge weight of the scanners. It's considering fining any who don't meet their new deadlines. So as a general rule, the restrictions on what you can take in carry-on bags will stay the same for the time being. On Friday, BBC Breakfast asked the boss of Manchester Airport what people should expect there this summer.
The vast majority of airports in the UK will still be in the process of switching out their scanners, just like we will be. So our message to passengers is please do come with your liquids in a liquid bag, less than 100 mils, and make sure you're ready to get your laptops out.
But the advice this summer is going to be check before you travel. Experts say that will avoid delays.
If passengers are well aware beforehand of what they can take, what they can't take, and then they can prepare appropriately before they go through security. And that is the responsibility, joint responsibility of the airport, the airline, but also passengers themselves.
And even when the rules change in the UK, check what applies at your destination airport so you don't get caught out coming home. Katie Austin, BBC News.
So if you're a little bit confused, here's the man to talk to. It's Simon Calder, travel journalist. Morning, Simon. I don't know, what are people supposed to think at the moment? Is the best advice to assume that the airport you're going to is still using the old-fashioned system where you have to decant everything and take everything out of the bags? Is that the smart thing to do?
Yeah, absolutely, Charlie, unless you know for a fact, for example, a year ago today, you might have been watching BBC Breakfast, at which point you would have found out that London City Airport in the Docklands area of the capital does have all new smart security. That means that the 100 millilitre rule in a clear recyclable, resealable bag doesn't apply, and you can take that bottle of water through as well. But otherwise, unless you know for a fact, and actually Teesside Airport is the same, then you have to comply with the rules which were introduced as a temporary measure in 2006. And that means, making sure your toiletries are all there and making sure you don't have that bottle of water. Generally, you can refill it on the other side of security. And it's awful because, of course, airports are stressful enough already. They're a bit like, I don't know, prisons or hospitals. You don't want to be there and you want to get out of them as soon as possible. But you're in a strange environment, you're under stress, you've got a plane to catch, and then someone is rummaging through your belongings. And the whole idea of these fancy new scanners is that that will become a thing of the past, at least in the UK, at least by, well, the summer of 2025. Now, as we were hearing in that report, the idea that it was all going to be ready for the peak of July and August this year isn't going to happen, although some airports will be ready, including Luton.
OK, so what's Luton got that, say, Heathrow and Manchester, which are rumoured to not be ready? What's Luton got that the others don't?
OK, well, I can tell you for a fact that none of the big 4 UK airports, that's London Heathrow, London Gatwick, Manchester and London Stansted, is going to be ready. There's all sorts of problems. For a start, these machines are in short supply. You can't just sort of phone up and get one delivered. In Heathrow's case, you've got to strengthen quite a lot of floors because these are massive things. If you've been to one of the airports which have got them, some of them look like huge jet engines. And that amount of work, Heathrow says we've got 146 security channels that we've got to change. There simply isn't time. And that's repeated right across. For instance, Edinburgh Airport says, yeah, we're working on it. By this summer, most people will be going through the new scanners. We won't have the work finished until the end of this year. And unfortunately, yeah, that means for the vast majority of people, it's going to be another summer where you've got to fret about the liquids and make sure that you've unpacked your tablet or your laptop, and that is there for separate scanning as well. And of course, crucially, as Katie Austin's film made clear, just because we're doing it here, and just because you might have a really smooth process through security going out, it doesn't mean that the same is going to apply coming back, because relatively few foreign airports have this kit.
Simon, a question for you. Irritating as it may be, in my head I always thought, well, at least it shows me that airport security is tight. You know, they're doing that. Things are being taken out. They're looking. How much confidence can we have in the new system when we don't have to do this being better than the system we have where we have to take all the bits and bobs out?
Well, talking to officials, talking to aviation security people, it is much, much better because effectively they are using medical grade scanners to look at the contents of your bag to detect the molecular structure of, for instance, liquids that might be there, and to decide if that's going to pose a threat. They can rotate the images by around in 3D and have a look and make sure that they are happy. And it also frees up time, it speeds up the whole process, but it means that then humans can do what humans are really good at, which is studying the behaviour of passengers. And some aviation security professionals say there's actually not enough attention on how people are behaving and whether there's anything that needs to be checked out, rather than just, well, have they ticked all the boxes and got their liquids in order in their bag. So yes, it should lead to even safer airport security. That's the hope.
Simon, thank you very much. Always good to chat. Thank you.